Hey everyone, welcome back to Mitch's Miniature Corner. I just wanted to give you guys an update and let you in on the special project that I am planning on cooking up this year on this channel. If the title hasn't given it away already, I'm sure that this caravan will. I plan on running a solo campaign on my channel where I'll pit the Seleucid army that I've built and my Republican Roman army that I've built against one another in a imaginations campaign across a continent that I've drawn up. So I threw together this baggage train to represent on the tabletop the logistical constraints that would accompany an army on campaign and to serve as baggage or a camp place in the tabletop battles that I plan on fighting. Now, I went the direction of a solo campaign because of, different things that are going on in my life. It'll be exponentially harder for me in the next year to get to the game store to meet with people or have people in my home to play war games with. So I thought that the best solution to both, continue to collect paint and game with miniature armies and figures was a solo campaign. And it's proved to me to be an elegant solution to this problem, especially given the resources that I've encountered and the ideas that I have about it. And I want to share them with you guys and show you guys kind of what I'm going to do and how I'm going to run sort of my solo campaign and share it with you all. Essentially, like, the first resource that I have to basically run my campaign with is the Solo Wargaming Guide, William Sylvester's Field Guide for Wargaming Without an Opponent. This is purely for campaigns. So you've got rules for mutinies, sieges, revolts, alliances, calendars and morale factors. There's a charting system for weather, logistics, and attrition, hence our baggage train and our flock of sheep that I'm painting up. But it's a very, here's your weather and your weather matrix. So it's just a really handy resource for wargaming a solo version of a campaign against essentially yourself. And the best idea that it has in here to really keep it kind of fresh and to keep it truly random is these mobilization rules. So you have your entities that are going to fight, and you roll on these tables to sort of see, when your defender will mobilize their forces in reaction to, the war being declared and the attacker kind of letting their intentions be known that they are going to, attack them. And then the other thing is this plan system. So for each sort of branching decision that arises in the campaign, you'll sort of write up 3 different plans and then roll a d6, and whatever die result you get, that's the plan that you adopt. So that keeps it fresh too. And that brings into sort of this other element I wanted to talk about, which is sort of like the role-playing aspects of it, where you can kind of really get into it and get in depth. And I went a little bit overboard, but essentially what I did was I made sort of characters to lead the armies in the campaign, because you have these two belligerent factions that are gonna fight a war: the Castorian Empire and the Republic of Achaeum, and they're fighting over the contested succession of the Kingdom of Mabria. And essentially, what's happening is you've got different sort of figures, both on the political and military side of things, that are going to influence the outcome of the war. And what I've found is the best way to do that is to sort of bring in and expand my war game with a little bit of role playing. So you've got all these different things in GURPS, which is the generic universal role playing system. And essentially what you can do is you can create characters, role-playing characters, with the intention of just using their skills and unique quirks to influence different decisions in the game. So it helps widen it out. That idea of sort of randomness via adopting different plans. I can bring in modifiers, almost like a game master would in a role-playing game, to sort of affect those die rolls into oh man, my camera's all over the place today, I'm sorry about that, to sort of bring in a unique flavor to the war game in my campaign. So I've got different generals and consuls and political leaders that I've rolled up characters for using GURPS, and I intend to fully leverage that aspect of wargaming to bring about unique sort of tabletop scenarios, and to just kind of make it fun for me, because I feel like the bulk of most campaigns, especially map-based campaigns, all of these decisions are being made long before you get models on the table to fight the actual miniature war game battle. And in order to keep that interesting and fresh, and not just be an exercise in bookkeeping, I think that going the whole role play route, and rolling up different sort of scenarios based on the decisions that present themselves in the campaign should make it more interesting and more fun as like a story generating activity, rather than just bookkeeping. These regiments go to this hex, and then this hex, and then this hex, and then there's a fight. This should add that extra layer of flavor to it that will just improve its playability and the level of excitement, because I think it's far more interesting to see these people and their impacts on the decisions, rather than just systems and armies. Like, this is the human element coming in, where you can sort of get that fun, that unique aspect of history, right? Is that there's always that human element in history, where it makes human beings incredibly unpredictable creatures that do unique things to their culture and time period. That hopefully this will help merge that into the idea of playing a solo wargaming campaign on a hex map, where different roles of scouting and stuff like that can be impacted by like my characters that I've rolled up. And then of course, like, you have political decisions back home that are going to be influenced by your senatorial class in the Republic, or the different wazirs and magistrates in the empire, right? They've got all their own personal ambitions and whatnot, and they're using both at home political entities are using their influence to fulfill their own ambitions and achieve their own unique aims. And that should bring about a lot more exciting gaming scenarios, both for myself and hopefully for you guys, because this is like what I plan on doing with the channel is giving you guys sort of like bench updates, like on what I'm doing, what I've painted, army showcases, stuff like that. But also I kind of wanted to share with you guys this idea that I have of going through this imaginations campaign and, you know, exploring this idea with you guys and then just posting it on YouTube as like a living reference if, you know, anyone else feels inspired or has a similar idea, you know, that it's a piece of living memory that's out there on the internet for, you know, people to replicate if they so choose. And so that's the campaigning aspect of it is the solo wargaming guide. I am using I used an internet program to convert this map that I made into a hex map, and then hopefully like in the future I'll get OBS running and we can hop on the computer. I'll show you guys the character sheets and the hex map that I made, and we can kind of walk through like where the armies are in relation to each other, because right now I'm just starting. I believe that our two belligerent powers have mobilized in their capitals, and they're looking to descend on this now chaotic realm of Mabria and try to sort of play their own political game and put their own pretender on the throne. But yeah, that should be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. All of the battles are going to be fought using in-depth ground. I really enjoyed this rule set for pre-gunpowder warfare, and I think like the randomness in the movement rates should get me a good representation of the sort of friction therein, where, you know, I'm playing games against myself, but it will generate sort of unique tactical decisions for both sides. And it just was a really fun rule set to play through, and I've played through it on the channel before, so maybe I can just become the dude on YouTube who plays this war game. Because I think it's a good rule set. I think Chris Pierce did a good job writing it. I think it's a very fun and very playable game. So all of the inevitable pitched battles will be fought using in-depth ground, and I'm looking forward to it. I whipped together, you know, this baggage train in my excitement for the forthcoming campaign. I used the camels are from, I believe, Miniature Building Authority. Yeah, Miniature Building Authority. They call it a camel caravan. There's a bunch of different camels, and I picked out the ones that are walking with a bunch of stuff on them, obviously, for my baggage train. And I used the miniatures are from the Wargames Atlantic kit, the Ancient Citizens of Rome or whatever. This kit's fine. The one thing that kind of annoyed me about this kit, which is going to sound incredibly strange from a wargaming perspective, is almost every single arm option, aside from a couple, have weapons, which is not necessarily like super cool. It's not necessarily the most convenient thing in the world if you want just, you know, ancient people living out their everyday lives, right? Like a dude with a amphora and then, you know, a man with a cloak and a walking stick. That's pretty much the only ones that aren't brandishing a weapon of some kind. This is the one I went with just because he seems to have just a simple wooden club, but the rest of them have, you know, various edged weapons, spears. There's even Pila on here as well, and it was just it was definitely interesting. Like, it's definitely a good kit if you want to do, you know, like a Spartacan revolt or, you know, Gangs of Rome, which is what it was intended for, you know, that skirmish game with, you know, the bands of people fighting in the streets of Rome. But I feel like calling it just Roman citizens is a little bit, yeah, citizens of Rome, it says right there, is slightly misleading, right? Because they're not just walking around being, you can't really model citizens of Rome. You can model citizens of Rome in revolt, or citizens of Rome on a murder spree, rather than just living out their everyday peaceable lives. So that was a little disappointing because I just bought a single sprue of this on eBay to make some baggage trains, but now I'm kind of happy I didn't buy a full kit, because I would be stuck with all these arm options that are essentially useless to what I'm using the kit for, which is fine, but you know, you read Citizens, you tend to not think, ah, yes, they'll be brandishing a bunch of Gladiuses and Pila, which, fair. And then the other thing I've been up to is just, I've been painting these dragoons, these Victrix dragoons, for, my Napoleonic French army. They're the plastic French dragoon kit that came out a few years ago, and I'm painting them up as the first dragoons, the first dragoon regiment. And then I've been painting some fantasy figures for the small business that I am a painter for. So yeah, got an owl bear fishing for a salmon, this unicorn that I just primed and still need to paint it. Then I painted this jade golem over the week. He's a giant fictitious rock creature. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. Just kind of just general processing, just getting some random stuff done. I need to build some horse archers for my Seleucid army. I have the Victrix Scythian horse archer kit, so I want to get to that after I do the dragoons, and then I still got my my unit of 30 Empire halberdiers that I want to finish as well. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun direction that the channel will have happening on it in 2025, you know. As and when things happen, I'll keep you guys updated, because right now the armies are amassing and just moving to the border regions of their countries. So when something more exciting happens, I'll definitely let you guys know. And if you guys want the backstory or a little made up history of the belligerent nations and the political situation, I'll definitely make a video of that and post it up as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be an exciting project to have going on the channel, besides just the painting of miniature armies and the occasional playing of war games for you guys. So that's all I have for you today. Happy wargaming, stay safe, and God bless.